1. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this 1985 Ford Mustang GT. First off, let's talk about the significance of the GT badge. In the Mustang world, GT stands for Grand Touring, and it's a designation that's been around since the 1960s. It signifies a higher performance version of the standard Mustang, with upgrades like a more powerful engine, better suspension, and unique styling cues. Now, 1985 was a big year for the Mustang GT. It marked the return of the 5.0-liter V8 engine, which had been absent from the Mustang lineup since 1982. This new 5.0 was a game-changer, putting out a respectable 210 horsepower and 270 lb-ft of torque. That might not sound like a lot by today's standards, but in the mid-80s it was enough to make the Mustang GT a serious contender on the street and the track. Another thing that makes this particular Mustang GT special is the fact that it's a convertible. There's just something about dropping the top on a classic muscle car that feels so right. And with the black exterior and charcoal leather interior, this car has a seriously cool look whether the top is up or down. But this Mustang isn't just about looks. It's got some serious performance chops too. The 6-speed manual transmission is a rare find on a car from this era, and it gives the driver a level of control and engagement that you just can't get with an automatic. And with the 2.73 Posey rear end, this car has the right gearing to make the most of its power, whether you're cruising the highway or tearing up the back roads. Now, I know some folks might be wary of a car with 125,000 miles on the odometer, but the truth is, a well-maintained Mustang can easily go twice that distance or more. The key is to look for signs of regular upkeep and care, like service records and a clean title. And from what the seller has shared, it seems like this car has been treated right. Of course, no car is perfect, and this Mustang does have a few minor issues. The AC needing a recharge is a common problem on older cars, and it's something that can be easily fixed by a competent mechanic. And while the seller mentions that the car comes with some new parts that haven't been installed yet, it's always a good idea to give the car a thorough once-over to see what else might need attention. At the end of the day, though, this 1985 Ford Mustang GT is a true classic that any enthusiast would be proud to own. It's got the looks, the power, and the pedigree to turn heads and drop jaws wherever it goes. And at $9,000, it's a bargain compared to some other classic muscle cars on the market. So if you're ready to experience the thrill of driving a true American icon, this Mustang GT might just be the car for you. Just imagine yourself behind the wheel, wind in your hair, engine rumbling beneath you, and nothing but open road ahead. It's the stuff that car dreams are made of, and it could be yours for the taking. 2. We've got a real blast from the past to check out, a 1974 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royal convertible that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This big, bold beauty is a true 70s icon with its massive front grille, sweeping body lines, and luxurious drop-top design. Now, let's be real, this car isn't perfect. The seller openly admits that it's got some cosmetic blemishes and rust, which is pretty much par for the course for a car that's nearly 50 years old. But here's the thing, sometimes perfection is overrated. This Delta 88 has character, and that counts for a lot in my book. Under the hood, you'll find a beefy 8-cylinder engine that's ready to rumble. And with front-wheel drive and an automatic transmission, this car is built for cruising in style. Just imagine rolling down the street in this thing, top down, wind in your hair, and the sweet sounds of the 70s blasting from the radio. It's the kind of experience that'll make you feel like a king or queen of the road. Now, I know some folks might be skeptical about buying a car with 114,000 miles on the odometer. But here's the thing. These old Oldsmobiles were built to last. With proper care and maintenance, there's no reason why this car couldn't keep on cruising for years to come. And the fact that it's got current tags and a clean title is a good sign that it's been well taken care of over the years. Of course, as with any used car, it's always a good idea to give it a thorough once-over before you buy. Check for signs of major damage or neglect, and make sure everything is in good working order. But if you're looking for a classic car that's got a ton of personality and style, this Delta 88 might just be the one for you. And let's talk about the price for a second. At just $3,500, this car is an absolute steal. Sure, it might need a little TLC here and there, but that's all part of the fun of owning a classic car. Plus, think about all the attention you'll get when you roll up to the local car show or cruise night in this thing. It's the kind of car that people will stop and stare at, and that's worth its weight in gold. So if you're ready to experience the thrill of driving a true 70s classic, this 1974 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royal Convertible might just be the car of your dreams. It's got the looks, the power, and the personality to make every drive an adventure. And at this price, it's an opportunity that's too good to pass up. Just imagine yourself behind the wheel, cruising down the highway with the top down and the world at your fingertips. It's the kind of freedom and excitement that only a classic car can provide, and it's waiting for you right now on Craigslist. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and make this Delta 88 yours today. 3. Now, we've got a real treat for you, a 1985 Pontiac Fiero that's up for sale on Craigslist. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't the Fiero just a quirky little 80s car with a reputation for catching on fire? Well, yes and no. While early Fieros did have some issues, by 1985, Pontiac had worked out most of the kinks, and the result was a seriously cool little sports car that still turns heads today. First off, let's talk about the specs. This particular Fiero is a 2M6 SE model, which means it's got a 2.8-liter V6 engine under the hood. That might not sound like a lot, but trust me, in a car this small and lightweight, it's plenty. With 140 horsepower and 170 lb-ft of torque, this Fiero can scoot. And with rear-wheel drive and an automatic transmission, it's got the perfect setup for some seriously fun driving. But the Fiero isn't just about performance, it's also got style for days. Just look at that sleek, wedge-shaped body and those pop-up headlights. This car is pure 80s cool, and in bright red, it's impossible to miss. And with only 54,650 miles on the odometer, this Fiero is just getting started. Inside, you'll find a comfortable cloth interior with all the amenities you'd expect, like air conditioning and power steering. There's even a sunroof for those perfect summer cruises. And with the factory floor mats still in place, this car looks like it's been well taken care of over the years. But what really sets this Fiero apart is the fact that it's a one-owner car with a clean title. That means it's got a documented history and hasn't been passed around from owner to owner. And with delivery available, you could be cruising in this cool little sports car in no time. Now, I know the asking price of $9,800 might seem a little steep for a 37-year-old Pontiac, but hear me out. The Fiero is a seriously unique car with a cult following. These things are getting harder and harder to find in good condition. And with the low mileage and one-owner history, this one is a real gem. Plus, with the factory 14-inch wheels, good tires, and dual exhaust, it's got all the right upgrades to make it a blast to drive. So if you're looking for a fun, stylish, and totally unique classic car, this 1985 Pontiac Fiero might just be the one for you. It's got the performance, the looks, and the history to make it a true standout. And with delivery available, it's never been easier to make this cool little sports car yours. Just imagine yourself behind the wheel, cruising down the highway with the sunroof open and the engine humming behind you. It's the kind of experience that only a classic car can provide, and it's waiting for you right now on Craigslist. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and make this Fiero yours today. 4. We've got a real gem to share with you, a 1966 Ford Galaxy 500 convertible that's up for sale on Craigslist. This big, bold beauty is a true icon of the 1960s, and it's ready to hit the road as your new daily driver. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller says this Galaxy is in good shape overall, and from what I can see, it looks like a real solid car. The frame and floorboards are in good condition, which is always a good sign for an old convertible. And with a rebuilt transmission that comes with a 3-year warranty, you can feel confident that this car is ready to roll. Under the hood, you'll find a beefy 8-cylinder engine that's ready to rumble. These old Ford Vi-80s are known for their power and reliability, and with rear-wheel drive, this Galaxy is built for some serious cruising. And with a new exhaust, shocks, gas tank, and lines and water pump, this car has been well maintained and updated where it counts. But let's be real. The real reason you buy a car like this is for the style. Just look at that sleek black paint job and those classic Galaxy lines. This car is a real head-turner with its long hood, short deck, and sporty convertible top. And with new tires and rims with dog dish caps, it's got a cool vintage vibe that's impossible to resist. Now, the seller does mention a few issues to be aware of. Both rear quarter panels have some bondo, which means they've been repaired at some point, and the convertible top needs to be replaced, as do the motors for the power windows. But honestly, these are pretty minor issues for a car of this age, and they shouldn't be deal breakers for the right buyer. The odometer has also rolled over, which means it's hard to know exactly how many miles are on this car. But the seller says it's been a reliable daily driver when the weather is nice, so it's clearly got plenty of life left in it. And let's talk about the price for a second. At $11,500, this Galaxy isn't cheap, but for a classic convertible in this condition, with these updates and features, it's actually a pretty fair price. These cars are getting harder and harder to find, and with the right care and maintenance, this one could be a real treasure for years to come. Of course, as with any used car, it's always a good idea to get it checked out by a mechanic before you buy. But if you're looking for a classic convertible that's ready to hit the road and turn some heads, this 1966 Ford Galaxy 500 might just be the one for you. Just imagine yourself behind the wheel, cruising down the highway with the top down and the wind in your hair. There's nothing quite like the feeling of driving a classic convertible, and this Galaxy is the perfect way to experience that. It's got the power, the style, and the history to make every drive an adventure. So if you're ready to make this Galaxy your new daily driver, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller. They're open to reasonable offers, but they're also looking for serious inquiries only. So if you're ready to take the plunge and make this classic convertible yours, go ahead and make an offer today. Who knows, you might just drive off into the sunset in your new 1966 Ford Galaxy 500. 5. We've got a real piece of American automotive history to share with you, a 1953 Buick Special that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beautiful old Buick is a true testament to the style and craftsmanship of the 1950s, and it's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller says this Buick is in good shape overall, but admits that it still needs some work. That's not surprising for a car that's nearly 70 years old, but the fact that it runs and drives well is a really good sign. With a little TLC, this Buick could be a real showstopper. Under the hood, you'll find a straight 8 engine. That's right, 8 cylinders in a row. This was Buick's signature engine design in the 1950s, and it's a real marvel of engineering. With plenty of torque and a smooth, quiet ride, this engine is the heart and soul of the Buick Special. And with an automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, this car is a real pleasure to drive. But let's be real. The real reason you buy a car like this is for the style. Just look at that gorgeous yellow paint job and those classic Buick lines. This car is a real head-turner with its long hood, short deck, and sleek, streamlined body. And as a 2-door hardtop, it's got a sporty, youthful vibe that's impossible to resist. Inside, you'll find a spacious and comfortable interior that's perfect for cruising. The bench seats are soft and supportive, and there's plenty of room for you and your passengers to stretch out. And with a clear title and 127,000 miles on the odometer, this Buick has plenty of life left in it. Now, I know the asking price of $12,500 might seem a little steep for an old Buick. But let's put that in perspective. This is a genuine piece of American automotive history. Cars like this are getting harder and harder to find, and with the right care and restoration, this Buick could be worth a whole lot more in the future. Plus, the seller is open to offers, so there's room to negotiate. Of course, as with any old car, there are going to be some issues to address. The seller mentions that the car still needs some work, so it's important to go into this with your eyes open. But if you're handy with a wrench and have a passion for classic cars, this Buick could be an incredible project. Just imagine yourself behind the wheel, cruising down the highway with the windows down and the radio playing your favorite tunes. There's nothing quite like the feeling of driving a classic car, and this Buick Special is the perfect way to experience that. It's got the style, the power, and the history to make every drive an adventure. So if you're looking for a classic car that's got a ton of personality and potential, this 1953 Buick Special might just be the one for you. It's a true piece of American automotive history, and it's waiting for the right owner to give it the love and attention it deserves. And with a little work and a lot of passion, this Buick could be the car of your dreams. So, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and make an offer on this incredible piece of history today. 6. We've got a real blast from the past to share with you. a 1962 Chevrolet Bel Air that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This iconic American classic is a true representation of the golden age of automobiles, and it's ready to find a new home with someone who appreciates its timeless style and charm. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller describes this Bel Air as being in good shape overall, which is great news for any potential buyer. While the ad doesn't go into a ton of detail about the car's specific features or history, it's clear that this is a solid, well-maintained example of a 62 Bel Air. Under the hood, you'll likely find one of Chevy's reliable inline-6 or V8 engines, depending on how this particular car was optioned. Either way, you can expect plenty of smooth, classic power to get you down the road in style. And with an automatic transmission, this Bel Air is easy to drive and perfect for cruising. Visually, this Bel Air is a real stunner. The white paint job looks clean and crisp in the photos and really showcases the car's classic lines and chrome accents. The 62 Bel Air has a timeless look that never goes out of style, with its long, low profile, distinctive grille, and sleek, understated fins out back. Inside, you'll find a spacious and comfortable interior that's perfect for long drives or weekend getaways. The Bel Air was known for its roomy bench seats and ample legroom, so you and your passengers can stretch out and enjoy the ride. And with just 98,000 miles on the odometer, this Bel Air has plenty of life left in it. Now, I know some folks might be hesitant to drop $8,500 on a classic car without knowing more about its specific history and condition. And that's totally understandable. Buying any used car, especially a classic, is a big decision that shouldn't be taken lightly. But if this Bel Air checks out in person and has been well maintained over the years, it could be a really solid investment. These classic Chevys have a huge following and a ton of aftermarket support, so finding parts and upgrades is relatively easy. And with its timeless style and reliable mechanicals, a 62 Bel Air is the kind of car that you can enjoy for years to come, whether you're using it as a daily driver or a weekend cruiser. Of course, as with any used car, it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection done by a qualified mechanic before making a purchase. But if this Bel Air is as good as it looks in the ad, it could be a really great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. Just imagine yourself behind the wheel of this classic Chevy, cruising down the highway with the windows down and the radio playing your favorite tunes. There's nothing quite like the feeling of driving a vintage car, and the 62 Bel Air is one of the most iconic and beloved models of its era. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's got style, substance, and a whole lot of charm, this 1962 Chevrolet Bel Air might just be the one for you. It's a piece of American history that you can actually drive and enjoy, and at $8,500, it's a relatively affordable way to get into the classic car hobby. Why not take a closer look and see if this Bel Air is the right fit for you? With its good condition and clean title, it could be the start of a beautiful friendship between you and one of the most iconic cars of the 1960s. Happy cruising! 7. We've got a real treat for you, a 1966 Chevrolet Impala that's up for sale on Craigslist. This iconic American sedan is a true representation of the muscle car era, and it's ready to hit the road with a new owner who appreciates its classic style and powerful performance. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this Impala. The seller describes it as being in good shape overall, which is great news for anyone looking for a solid classic car. While the ad mentions a little rust on the body, it sounds like this is a relatively minor issue that shouldn't detract too much from the car's overall appeal. And with a clean title and a reasonable price tag of just $5,600, this Impala could be a really great deal for the right buyer. Under the hood, you'll find a beefy 327 CI-V8 engine that's been upgraded with an Edelbrock carb for even more power and performance. This engine is a true classic, known for its strong acceleration and smooth, reliable operation. Paired with a turbo 350 automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, this Impala is built for cruising and enjoying the open road. One really cool feature of this particular Impala is the disc brake conversion on the front wheels. This upgrade provides better stopping power and more modern braking performance than the original drum brakes, which is a great safety feature to have on a classic car. Visually, this Impala is a real head-turner with its bright yellow paint job. The 66 Impala has a timeless, sleek look with clean lines, a long hood, and a distinctive grille that's instantly recognizable. And while the odometer has rolled over, the seller reports that the car has just 146,000 miles on it, which is relatively low for a vehicle of this age. Inside, the interior is described as being in fair condition, with the carpet removed. This is a common issue with older cars, and it's something that can be easily addressed with a new carpet kit or some custom floor mats. The rest of the interior looks to be in decent shape, with a classic bench seat and plenty of room for passengers. The seller also mentions that there are some new parts included with the car, which is always a nice bonus. It's not clear exactly what these parts are, but they could be anything from new tires to engine components or interior trim pieces. Overall, this 1966 Chevrolet Impala seems like a really solid classic car with a lot of potential. It's got a strong, upgraded engine, a cool disc brake conversion, and a timeless look that never goes out of style. And at just $5,600, it's a relatively affordable way to get into the classic car hobby. Of course, as with any used car, especially a classic, it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection done by a qualified mechanic before making a purchase. But if this Impala checks out and is as good as it sounds, it could be a really great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. Just imagine yourself behind the wheel of this classic Chevy, cruising down the highway with the windows down and the V8 rumbling under the hood. There's nothing quite like the feeling of driving a vintage muscle car, and the '66 Impala is one of the most iconic and beloved models of its era. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's got power, style, and a whole lot of potential, this 1966 Chevrolet Impala might just be the one for you. Why not take a closer look and see if it's the right fit for your garage? With its good condition, clean title, and affordable price tag, it could be the start of a beautiful friendship between you and one of the most legendary cars of the 1960s. Happy cruising. 8. We've got a real treat for you. A 1982 AMC Spirit that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist for just $6,500. This classic coupe is a true gem from the golden era of American motors. Under the hood, you'll find a reliable four-cylinder engine that's paired with a smooth-shifting automatic transmission. And with rear-wheel drive, this Spirit is sure to provide an engaging driving experience that'll put a smile on your face. Now let's talk about the condition. The seller states that it's in good shape, and from what we can see, they're not exaggerating. The odometer shows 114,000 miles, which is pretty reasonable for a car of this age. Plus, it's recently been treated to a fresh coat of white paint, giving it a clean and crisp look that's sure to turn heads. Inside, the interior is described as decent, which likely means it has some wear and tear, but nothing too major. It's to be expected in a car that's over 40 years old, but it just adds to the charm and character of this classic ride. But here's where things get really interesting. The seller mentions that this Spirit would be the perfect candidate for a V8 swap. Imagine dropping a powerful V8 engine into this lightweight coupe. It would be an absolute blast to drive. The seller is also open to trades, so if you've got something cool to offer up, don't be shy. Overall, this 1982 AMC Spirit is a fantastic opportunity for any enthusiast looking for a fun and unique project car. With its clean title, new paint, and potential for a V8 swap, this Spirit is ready to be taken to the next level. Don't miss out on this chance to own a piece of American automotive history. 9. All right, folks, buckle up because we've got an absolute stunner of a car to talk about today. A 1962 Ford Thunderbird that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, let's address the elephant in the room. The listing says it's a convertible, but the seller clarifies that it started life as a two-door hardtop before they decided to chop the roof off. While it may not be a factory drop top, this custom conversion is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. Now let's talk about what makes this T-Bird so special. Under the hood, you'll find a mighty 390 motor that's been freshly rebuilt and is still under warranty. Paired with a similarly rebuilt automatic transmission, this classic cruiser is ready to hit the road with confidence. But the upgrades don't stop there. The seller has gone all out to make sure this car is in top-notch condition. The gas system and tank are brand new, and the carburetor has been meticulously rebuilt to ensure smooth operation. All the lights and gauges work flawlessly, including the turn signals, brake lights, headlights, gas gauge, and engine temp gauge. The suspension has been upgraded with new sway bar bushings and air ride shocks for a silky smooth ride, while fresh tires keep you planted on the road. Aesthetically, this T-Bird is a real head-turner. It's been treated to a fresh coat of glossy black paint that's sure to make jaws drop wherever you go. The interior has been completely redone with new carpet and upholstery, and all the original body trim and badges are present and accounted for. It's the perfect blend of classic style and modern comfort. But the seller didn't stop there. They've also installed a new upgraded exhaust system that gives this bird a throaty growl without being too obnoxious. It's the perfect soundtrack for cruising down the highway or turning heads at your local car show. And with a new pink slip, tags, and paperwork, this beauty is ready to be driven home today. The seller notes that all the glass is in great condition, and they've even added seat belts in the front and back for added safety. It's clear that no expense was spared in bringing this classic back to life. Now, I know what you're thinking. A car this incredible must cost a fortune. But here's the best part. The seller is asking just $10,000 for this stunning piece of American automotive history. That's an absolute steal for a car that's been so thoroughly restored and upgraded. If you're interested in making this T-Bird yours, the seller asks that you call or text Mickey directly. He's not answering messages on Craigslist. But trust me, this is one car that's worth picking up the phone for. In conclusion, this 1962 Ford Thunderbird is an absolute gem that's been lovingly restored and upgraded to be a reliable daily driver with plenty of style to spare. With its fresh paint, new interior, and powerful 390 motor, this custom convertible is ready to cruise the streets in style. And at just $10,000, it's an opportunity that no enthusiast should pass up. So what are you waiting for? Give Mickey a call and make this stunning T-Bird yours today. I-10. We've got a real treat for you. A 1977 Dodge Aspen that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $8,500. This classic coupe is a true gem from the late 70s, and it's got plenty of features that are sure to get your engine revving. First off, let's talk about what's under the hood. This Aspen is powered by a super slant 6-cylinder engine, which is known for its reliability and durability. Paired with a rear-wheel drive system, this car is sure to provide a smooth and enjoyable driving experience. Now, let's talk about the condition. The seller notes that the car is in good shape, and from what we can see, it looks like they've taken great care of it. The odometer shows just 34,000 miles, which is incredibly low for a car of this age. That means you're getting a classic car that's been well maintained and hasn't been driven into the ground. One thing to note is that the car has recently undergone a paint job due to some hail damage. While that might be a turnoff for some buyers, we actually think it's a great opportunity. The new blue paint looks fantastic and gives this classic car a fresh, modern look. The seller has also upgraded the wheels to a set of Kragers, which look absolutely stunning against the blue paint. And here's the best part. They've even included a Krager spare tire, so you'll be ready for anything on the road. Inside, the car is just as impressive. The seller describes it as a very nice driver, which suggests that the interior is in great shape and ready for you to take on your next adventure. Now, I know what you might be thinking. With all these great features, there must be a catch. But from what we can see, this Aspen is the real deal. The title is clean, and the seller seems to be upfront about the car's condition. Of course, as with any used car purchase, we always recommend getting a thorough inspection before making a final decision. But based on what we can see, this 1977 Dodge Aspen is a fantastic opportunity for any enthusiast looking for a reliable and stylish classic car. So what are you waiting for? If you're in the market for a vintage coupe with plenty of character and a great price tag, this Aspen is definitely worth checking out. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of automotive history. 11. We've got something truly special for you. A gorgeous 1974 Chevrolet Monte Carlo that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. And the best part? It's being sold by the original owner, which means you know it's been well taken care of over the years. First off, let's talk about the condition of this beauty. The seller describes it as excellent, and based on the details provided, we have no reason to doubt them. The car has been lovingly maintained by its one and only owner, and it shows in every aspect of the vehicle. Under the hood, you'll find the original small block 400 motor and turbo 375 transmission, which have powered this Monte Carlo for an impressive 180,000 miles. That might seem like a lot, But for a classic car that's been so well cared for, it's a testament to the quality and durability of Chevrolet engineering. Now, let's talk about the upgrades. The seller mentions that the interior, paint, and vinyl top have all been replaced, which means you're getting a car that looks and feels like new. The captain seats are a particularly nice touch. They rotate to make it easier to get in and out of the vehicle, which is a feature that's sure to be appreciated by anyone who's ever struggled with the low seating position of a classic car. The seller also mentions that the car comes with 2 sets of wheels. The original wheels with new tires or a set of rally wheels for a sportier look. Whichever you choose, you can rest assured that this Monte Carlo will be riding in style. Of course, the real selling point of this car is the driving experience. The seller describes it as an extremely smooth, comfortable classic ride. And we have no doubt that's true. The Monte Carlo was known for its luxurious feel and smooth handling. And this one has been so well maintained that it's sure to be a joy to drive. Now, I know what you might be thinking. With all these great features, the price must be astronomical. But here's the thing. The seller is asking just $15,000 for this one-owner beauty. When you consider the excellent condition, the upgrades, and the fact that it's being sold by the original owner, that's an absolute steal. Of course, as with any used car purchase, we always recommend getting a thorough inspection before making a final decision. But based on what we can see, this 1974 Chevrolet Monte Carlo is a fantastic opportunity for anyone looking for a classic car that's been lovingly cared for over the years. So what are you waiting for? If you're in the market for a vintage ride that's sure to turn heads and provide an unforgettable driving experience, this Monte Carlo is definitely worth checking out. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of automotive history. Contact the seller today and make this beauty yours. 12. We've got a real treat for you, a 1975 Chevrolet Nova that's sure to get your heart racing. This isn't just any old Nova, though. It's a factory 4-speed car with a 454 big block under the hood, and it's ready to tear up the streets. First off, let's talk about the condition of this beast. The seller describes it as excellent, and based on the details provided, it's easy to see why. The car has been well maintained and cared for, with lots of money invested in upgrades and improvements. Under the hood, you'll find a 454 cubic inch big block Chevy that's been fitted with a thumping cam. This thing is ready to roar, and the seller notes that it runs great and pulls hard. Paired with a Super T10 4-speed manual transmission and a posi rear end, this Nova is built for speed and performance. But it's not just about raw power. This car has been upgraded with all sorts of goodies to make it a true driver's machine. The steering box has been swapped out for a quick ratio unit, which means more precise handling and better control on the road. The interior has been fitted with new bucket seats, so you can sit in comfort while you're tearing up the asphalt. Of course, with all that power comes the need for some extra control, and this Nova has that covered too. The seller is including a set of traction bars to help keep the rear end planted when you're launching hard. And with the posi rear end, you'll have plenty of grip to get off the line quickly. Now, the seller does note that the clutch is a bit weak and will likely need to be replaced sooner or later. But honestly, that's a small price to pay for a car that's this much fun to drive. And with lots of receipts included to show the work that's been done, you can rest assured that this Nova has been well taken care of. The asking price for this 1975 Chevrolet Nova is $12,500, which might seem like a lot at first glance. But when you consider the factory 4-speed, the big block power, and all the upgrades that have been made, it's actually a pretty solid deal. The seller is firm on the price, and notes that they have a lot more time and money invested in the car. So if you're serious about taking this Nova home, don't try to lowball them. Overall, this 1975 Chevrolet Nova is a true muscle car enthusiast's dream. With its factory 4-speed, big block power, and all sorts of performance upgrades, it's ready to tear up the streets and turn heads wherever it goes. And with a clear title and lots of receipts included, you can buy with confidence knowing that this car has been well taken care of. So what are you waiting for? If you're in the market for a classic muscle car that's ready to rumble, this Nova is definitely worth checking out. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of automotive history. Contact the seller today and make this beast yours. 13. All right, let's take a closer look at this 1976 Dodge Dart that's currently for sale on Craigslist. The seller is asking $13,900 for this classic coupe, and from the description, it seems like it could be a solid deal for the right buyer. First off, the seller notes that the car is in good condition overall. That's always a positive sign when you're shopping for a classic car, as it means you won't have to sink a ton of money into repairs right off the bat. Under the hood, this Dart is packing some serious heat. It's got a 318 cubic inch V8 engine that's been modified with a bigger cam and larger heads. That means this thing should have plenty of power and a nice lumpy idle. It's also got power steering and power front disc brakes, which is a nice upgrade over the manual systems that were common in the 70s. The transmission is an automatic, which may be a turnoff for some enthusiasts who prefer a manual. But for those who just want to cruise and enjoy the ride, an automatic is a nice option to have. One of the coolest features on this Dart is the exhaust cutouts. With the flip of a switch, you can open up the exhaust and let that 318 V8 roar. It's a great way to turn heads at car shows or just have some fun on the weekends. Out back, this Dart is rocking an 814 rear end. And if that's not enough, the seller is including a complete 355 Pausa unit with the purchase. That's a serious upgrade that will give this car even more performance potential. The wheels are classic Kragers, which look great on pretty much any muscle car from the 70s. And the tires are seriously beefy, with 295 6015S in the rear and 165 8015S up front. Aesthetically, this Dart has a lot going for it. The paint is a beautiful Millennium Yellow that was done in 2020, so it's still looking fresh. The seller has also made some cool exterior mods like removing the side markers, shortening the bumpers, and adding fender turn signal indicators. There's even a 2010 Challenger fuel cap housing, which is a neat modern touch. Inside, the car has a black interior with new headliner and carpet. The windows are fully tinted, which gives it a nice, sleek look. Now, the seller doesn't mention anything about the car being in poor condition, so we can assume that it's a solid driver. Of course, as with any classic car, there may be some minor issues that need to be addressed. But overall, this 1976 Dodge Dart seems like a great opportunity for someone who wants a fun, powerful, and good-looking classic muscle car. The asking price of $13,900 may seem a bit high at first glance, but when you consider all the upgrades and modifications that have been done to this car, it starts to make more sense. The 318 V8 alone is worth a decent chunk of change, and the addition of the 355 Pausa unit sweetens the deal even more. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection before making a final decision. But based on the description and the photos, this 1976 Dodge Dart seems like it could be a great buy for the right person. So if you're in the market for a classic muscle car with plenty of power and style, this Dart is definitely worth checking out. Who knows? It could be the start of a beautiful friendship between you and a piece of American automotive history. 14. All right, folks. Today we're taking a look at a 1964 Plymouth Valiant that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $3,500. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A Valiant? Isn't that just a boring old sedan? But hold on, because this particular Valiant has a few tricks up its sleeve. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. The seller is upfront about the fact that this car has plenty of rust and patina. It's not going to win any beauty contests, but if you're into that rough and tumble look, this Valiant might be right up your alley. Under the hood, you'll find a factory V8 engine, specifically a 273 cubic inch unit. That's a nice upgrade over the standard slant 6 that most Valiants came with. And with a single Flowmaster exhaust, this thing should sound pretty mean. Now, the seller does note that the odometer is broken, so we don't know the exact mileage. But they do say that the car has 94,875 miles on it, so it's safe to assume it's been around the block a few times. The transmission is a push-button automatic, which is a cool vintage feature, and the seller has replaced a bunch of parts over the years, including the starter, fuel tank, alternator, and voltage regulator. So while it may not be showroom fresh, it seems like it's been maintained pretty well. One thing to note is that this Valiant has four-wheel drum brakes. Some people love them, some people hate them. The seller says they've never experienced any fade, but they also admit that they mostly just drive it around town. So if you're planning on hitting the track or the canyons, you might want to budget for some brake upgrades. Inside, the interior has been redone and is in great shape with no rips in the bench seats. The door cards and window regulators could use some love, but overall it seems like a pretty comfortable place to be. Now, the seller does mention that this particular Valiant is essentially a Barracuda from the grille to the B-pillar. That's a pretty cool detail that sets it apart from your average Valiant. And with the silver paint and patina, it's got a bit of a sinister look to it. Of course, as with any classic car, there are going to be some quirks. The fuel gauge doesn't work, and the only gauge that does work is the charging ammeter. But hey, that's part of the charm, right? The seller is also including some extra parts with the sale, including a new speedo cable, extra lug nuts, apparently the driver's side has reverse thread, a spare cluster, and some trim parts. So if you're handy with a wrench, you might be able to get this thing looking and running even better. Overall, this 1964 Plymouth Valiant seems like a solid project car for someone who's into vintage Mopars. It's got a factory V8, a cool push-button transmission, and some unique Barracuda-style features. And at just $3,500, it's a pretty affordable way to get into the classic car game. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection before making a final decision. But if you're willing to put in some work and embrace the patina, this Valiant could be a really fun and unique ride. 15. We've got a real treat for you, a 1984 Buick Riviera that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic beauty is being offered for just $7,000, and from the looks of it, it could be a great deal for the right buyer. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller doesn't mention anything about the car being in poor shape, so we can assume it's in decent condition overall. They do note that it's a driver quality car, which means it may have some minor imperfections, but nothing that would keep it from being a reliable daily driver. Under the hood, you'll find a 5.0-liter V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. The seller mentions that the car runs awesome, which is always a good sign. And with just over 107,000 miles on the odometer, this Riviera still has plenty of life left in it. One of the coolest features of this particular Riviera is the upgraded two-tone interior. It's got an electronic cluster, which was a pretty high-tech feature back in 1984. The seller has also recently installed new fender fillers, which gives the car a nice, clean look. Now, the seller does mention that this body style of Riviera is getting harder to find these days, and they're right. The 1984 model year was a bit of a transition year for the Riviera, with a new front-wheel drive platform and a more aerodynamic design. But this particular car still has that classic Riviera look, with its long hood and short deck. Of course, as with any classic car, there are going to be some things to keep in mind. The seller notes that this is a classic car sale, which means it's as is and with no warranty. They also encourage potential buyers to get a vehicle inspection before making a purchase, which is always a good idea. The seller is asking $6,995 for this Riviera, which seems like a fair price considering its condition and features. They do mention that they're only interested in serious inquiries and that the car is shown by appointment only, so if you're interested, you'll want to reach out to them directly to schedule a time to check it out. Overall, this 1984 Buick Riviera seems like a great opportunity for someone who's looking for a classic car that's both stylish and reliable. With its upgraded interior, clean exterior, and strong-running V8 engine, it's got a lot to offer. And at just under $7,000, it's a relatively affordable way to get into the classic car game. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's important to do your due diligence and get a thorough inspection before making a final decision. But if everything checks out, this Riviera could be a really fun and unique ride to add to your collection. 16. The 1973 Ford Gran Torino, currently listed on Craigslist for $9,000, appears to be a well-maintained classic car. According to the seller's description, the vehicle is in excellent condition, with a clean title and 90,000 miles on the odometer. The car features a powerful 351 Cleveland 5.8 engine and an automatic transmission, providing a smooth driving experience. The Gran Torino has undergone several improvements, including new upholstery and carpet, which enhance the interior's appearance and comfort. The seller also mentions that the car has no bondo, indicating that the body is in good shape without any significant rust or damage repairs. The original blue paint adds to the vehicle's classic appeal. This particular model comes with a trim package and upgraded wheels and tires, giving it a more stylish look. The seller has invested in numerous new parts, suggesting that the car has been well cared for and maintained. Additionally, both the air conditioning and heater are reported to work great, providing comfort in various weather conditions. The seller emphasizes that interested buyers must see the car in person to fully appreciate its condition and value. They also state that the price is firm, implying that they are confident in the vehicle's worth and are not likely to negotiate. Overall, based on the seller's description, the 1973 Ford Gran Torino seems to be a solid classic car with various upgrades and in excellent condition. However, as with any used vehicle purchase, it is always recommended to inspect the car thoroughly and verify the information provided by the seller before making a final decision. 17. The 1952 Buick Riviera, currently available on Craigslist for $8,500 or best offer, is a classic coupe with a rich history. According to the seller, the car was purchased by their father about 2 years before he passed away and was previously stored in dry conditions for 24 years. The vehicle remains parked indoors, contributing to its preservation. Despite being 72 years old, the Buick Riviera is described as being in very good condition. The upholstery has been completely replaced and remains in great shape, while the body is also reported to be in excellent condition. However, the seller mentions that the paint is slightly thin in some areas, which is not uncommon for a vehicle of this age. The chrome parts are all present and in presentable condition, though the seller suggests that they could be re-chromed for a more brilliant shine if desired. The car retains its original straight-8 engine and automatic transmission, adding to its authenticity and value. Impressively, all features of the car are said to be functional, including the backup lights. The seller states that the Buick Riviera runs and drives well, but cautions that it requires a confident driver due to its age. The vehicle comes with a clear, clean Washington title, providing peace of mind for potential buyers. While the seller is not offering an extended warranty, they humorously mention an easy payment plan consisting of 100% cash down with no payments or interest for as long as the buyer owns the car. The car is located in Tacoma, Washington, and the seller, who resides in Phoenix, Arizona, will be available in town from June 3rd, 10 or longer for serious inquiries. They are asking $8,500 or best offer, but clarify that lowball offers around $3,000 will not be entertained. The seller emphasizes their honesty in describing the vehicle and requests that interested parties be genuine in their inquiries to avoid wasting time. They encourage potential buyers to visit and become the next proud owner of this classic 1952 Buick Riviera. 18. The 1962 Ford Thunderbird, currently listed on Craigslist for $10,000, is a classic coupe that has undergone several repairs and improvements. According to the seller, the vehicle's condition is described as fair, indicating that while it may have some imperfections or signs of age, it is still in a reasonable state. Under the hood, the Thunderbird is powered by a 394-barrel engine, which suggests a strong performance potential. The seller has invested in various new components such as floor pans, wires, taillights, fuel pump, tie rod ends, center link, and brake shoes, demonstrating a commitment to maintaining and enhancing the car's functionality and safety. It's important to note that the odometer has rolled over, meaning that the actual mileage of the vehicle is likely higher than the 173,874 miles displayed. This is not uncommon for classic cars of this age, but potential buyers should keep this in mind when assessing the vehicle's overall condition and value. The car's paint color is blue, though the seller does not provide details on the quality or condition of the paint job. Given the fair condition rating, it's possible that the paint may show signs of age, fading, or imperfections. One notable feature is that the seller includes extra parts with the sale, specifically mentioning additional glass for the side. Having spare parts can be beneficial for future repairs or restoration projects. While the seller provides some information about the car's upgrades and included extras, they do not elaborate on the interior condition, rust, if any, or other potential issues. Interested buyers are advised to inspect the vehicle in person, ask detailed questions, and gather more information to make an informed decision. In summary, the 1962 Ford Thunderbird presented in this Craigslist ad appears to be a classic car with a strong engine and several new components. However, its fair condition rating and rolled-over odometer suggest that it may have some age-related wear and tear. Potential buyers should carefully evaluate the car's overall condition and weigh the asking price of $10,000 against the value of the vehicle and any necessary future repairs or improvements. 19. The 1977 Buick Limited Landau Coupe, currently listed on Craigslist for $14,500 or near offer, is an exceptionally well-preserved classic car with just 23,000 original unaltered miles. According to the seller's description, the vehicle is in like-new condition, suggesting that it has been meticulously maintained and cared for throughout its life. The car's exterior boasts a straight and clean body with no signs of damage or rust. The paint, described as very nice, has the potential to regain a like-new luster with some care and attention. The chrome wheels are free of curb rash, and the seller has recently installed brand new tires, ensuring a safe and comfortable ride. Inside, the Buick Limited Landau features a cloth brocade interior that shows no signs of wear on the seat bolsters, holes, or other damage. The doors, headliner, and armrests are all in excellent condition with no sagging, drooping, or splits. The dashboard is free of cracks, and the vinyl top on the quarter sail panels shows no rust, a common issue in older vehicles. The seller, a senior who is downsizing their affairs to move into senior living, emphasizes that the car is being offered for sale in its current incredible condition. Mechanically, the Buick starts easily and runs quietly with no reported issues. The ride quality is described as excellent, with the car floating down the road nicely. The only minor issue noted by the seller is a slight mark on the passenger side of the windshield, likely caused by the windshield wiper. However, they mention that this mark may be possible to polish out. Given the car's low mileage, exceptional condition, and the seller's confidence in its rarity, the asking price of $14,500 or near offer seems reasonable for a classic car of this caliber. The seller promises that finding a cleaner, lower mileage Buick that is a joy to own will be a challenge. Overall, this 1977 Buick Limited Landau Coupe presents a unique opportunity for classic car enthusiasts or collectors to acquire a highly original, well-maintained vehicle with low mileage. Prospective buyers should consider arranging an in-person inspection to verify the car's condition and discuss any further details with the seller. 20. The 1966 Buick Riviera, currently listed on Craigslist for $10,000, is a classic luxury car that showcases the iconic styling and features of its era. Although the seller's description is brief, it provides some key information about the vehicle's specifications and amenities. Under the hood, the Riviera is powered by a 425 cubic inch V8 engine, which was known for its strong performance and smooth operation. The engine is paired with a TH400 automatic transmission, ensuring a comfortable and effortless driving experience. The car is equipped with power steering PS and power brakes PB, which were advanced features for its time, making it easier to handle and control the vehicle. Additionally, the Riviera comes with power windows, PW, adding to its luxury appeal and convenience. Another notable feature is the tilt wheel, which allows the driver to adjust the steering wheel angle for optimal comfort and driving position. While the seller mentions the car's mileage as 87,000, they do not provide information about the vehicle's overall condition, such as the state of the body, interior, or any potential mechanical issues. The lack of details and photos in the listing may raise questions about the car's true condition and whether it needs any repairs or restoration work. Given the limited information provided, potential buyers should approach this listing with caution and be prepared to ask the seller for more details, request additional photos, and arrange for an in-person inspection to assess the car's condition thoroughly. It's also essential to research the market value of similar 1966 Buick Rivieras to determine if the asking price of $10,000 is fair and in line with the vehicle's condition and features. In summary, the 1966 Buick Riviera presented in this Craigslist ad seems to have some desirable features, such as a powerful V8 engine, automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes, power windows, and a tilt wheel. However, without more comprehensive information about the car's overall condition, potential buyers should proceed with caution and gather more details before making a decision. A thorough inspection and evaluation of the vehicle's condition are crucial to ensure a satisfactory purchase.